Okay. Yay! Action. Action time. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us today, Friday, April 22nd. We're going to have our 5th webinar. It's going to be on time-saving tools to customize your curriculum. Here we are with Hannah. Thank you for coming, Hannah, and she's like the expert.
Yes, I'll be helping out.
So I'm super happy to have you, Hannah, coming to really do that.
Okay.
So let's get started with our first slide. Today, we're going to show you how and why it is important to personalize the content for our students, especially when we have different students that have different learning styles and their learning speed might be different. So what are the benefits of personalized learning? The first one refers to the ability to learn. Students can learn at their own pace. And we are going to show you different tools where you can use to help your students. The fast, the ones that finish first can go and do more practice, and the other ones who need extra help can also have more activities to do. The next benefit refers to the fact that, of course, since we have a variety of students and their learning speeds and styles, weaker students can get that extra practice while stronger students are not slowed down, so that is another good benefit of personalized learning, that all students can be working in different ways, in different speeds, but all at the same time. Another benefit is that these types of varied activities can accommodate different students' learning needs. So we really that, and we really would like for every class and for every teacher to have this great experience in terms of personalizing their students' knowledge and their students' class. So we have in Our Storyscape and in the Voces platform, we have a special tool that you will see right there. You'll see the pencil icon right there. And this is our editor tool. The ways in which you can use our editor tool are, for example, you can create new activities for your students. You can edit existing material within our platform, and you can add subsections if you prefer to do that. So today we're going to show you, we're going to start with the stories, which are the focal point of our material. We're going to show you how to do different tasks and how to personalize all of these activities with your students. So the first one is the translation, for example. We're going to show you how to do that. So now we're going to go to the Voces digital platform and to Our Storyscape, and I will leave you with Hannah.
All right. So first of all, our first task here is to add a translation or a definition, or just, adding to the text. So you see in this story, we already provide a few translations by hovering over certain words that are bold and blue that translate into Spanish. But say there's two situations where you might want to add your own. In this case, you might have students whose their first language is something other than Spanish. You have, maybe most of your class speaks Spanish, but the student, needs a little help because their language is Polish and they still need to learn English. Another way is if you have presented this story to your students and they still don't quite understand everything, or you see some structures, some vocabulary that are too complicated for your students at this level, you can go in and add your own. So let's say that you want to edit this story. You will scroll all the way down to the bottom and click on the Edit This Page button. So when you first click on the page, you'll be presented with this dialog box that asks you to name your page. You'll still have the old page if you want to go back to the way it was, but this is your new one. So I'm actually just going to say this is my copy, things that I'm editing on it. So when you see it later, you can compare the old and the new. So we'll see that the page is divided into sections. We have the vocabulary and then the story section and the illustrations below. So I can see that section 2 is at the top and section 1 is at the bottom. So I'll go to section 1 because that's the story. And you'll just want to click on add or edit the content. And then once you're here, you'll have to scroll down to the bottom of the story and click edit again. And now you're here where you can make those changes. So we still have the bold words that we had before, but let's say the first few I want to translate into Polish instead of Spanish. So this first one, all you have to do is highlight it again, go up to this button here that says text popover. Click on that. You'll paste in your translation that you want to use and click insert popover. So that will be the Polish translation instead of Spanish. Let me just add a second one so you can see it again. So here's the next one that I want to change. Highlight, go to the text popover button, paste in your new translation and insert. To demonstrate, you can do it to any word at all. Maybe your students don't know the word funny and you know that's not the vocabulary that you're focusing on right now, but you want them to be able to comprehend the story still. So it's extra help for those students who need it. You can highlight it and do the exact same thing you did for the other ones. So now I'll scroll to the bottom, hit save, then hit save again at the top. So once I close it, everything will refresh. And if I go down to those words that I changed, those are now the Polish versions of the words.
That is awesome. And I was thinking that we could also use this activity if you are working with synonyms or antonyms. We can actually do that too. Instead of writing the translation, we could also like play with different opposites, you know, likes, dislikes, opposite of, you know. So we can also help our students expand their vocabulary.
Yeah, that's a great idea. And for that, you could even, you know, say I put an antonym here instead, you could make it italicized so that students know the difference, you know, change so that you can tell them the italicized ones are the antonyms or something like that if you want.
Yeah, definitely. Perfect. We can also use it for categories. You know, we can also categorize those, like, for example, cat is an animal, or their vocabulary there too. The next activity that we also suggest is the changing the characters' names or changing the character, you know, as it is.
So we'll demonstrate again with this story here. And Lorena's suggestion was to change maybe even the animal that we're talking about. So again, we'll just go back to that story section and edit at the bottom. So you can always find, let's say, for example, I want to change Tat. He's not a cat anymore. He is a dog. And so a very easy way to do this would be to do on a computer. Just hit Control F, which will then pop up this box in the corner so that you can find everywhere in the story that mentions the word cat. So it's easy for you to edit the things that you want. And if you wanted to change his name, you would just type cat up above. So I'll just do it a few times. But let's say my students really like dogs. So I'm just going to change him to a dog. Of course, the title should also be changed. I'll do that a few times. Or you could even, for example, make this a fill in the blank activity. Students can customize their own story. So let's say instead of changing it myself, you just add in a blank and you can print out the story and students can write in whatever they want. And you can do it you could even do it kind of like a Mad Libs, where you take out a bunch of words and ask them to write in an adjective or a noun, a color, those sorts of things.
Yeah, that is a fun activity
Mhm.
because then you can decide the animal, the size, the place. Maybe it's not taking a train, it's taking a plane, it's taking a rocket,
Yeah, for sure.
Yes, that is also a very, very creative activity because when you read the final result, it's like, it's a totally different story.
So you can create a new story with your students every time you read the story together. What is there a mode of transportation that starts with D? The dirt bike. The dirt bike.
I like that. The dirt, yeah, to continue with the alliteration.
And then his name has to change too. So.
I love that. You see, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we are using alliteration, the same with tat. We're using the same dog. Good.
Yeah. And so just going back to the PowerPoint, our next step in enhancing this story is to add in images. So I'll show you how to do that as well. You can upload them right from your computer. Say, you just pick a spot in the story. I'm going to pick right here to upload an image. So you'll scroll to the top and click on this picture button. And you're going to want to choose the file from your computer. And I will pick this one right here and insert the image. Now this takes like 30 seconds to a minute. It's a little slow, but it will work. But some of the stories in Our Storyscape don't always come with images. About like half of them have illustrations and some of them don't. So if you want to enhance the story in your own way or add interesting details, you can add in images that you find online. So any day now, it will upload and you'll be able to see your picture.
Another thing that we could also do with this function is to ask your students to draw any section of the story, and then you can take pictures of those stories and upload them from your computer, so they will have their part. And it's so good to see how like the creation of each student will be part of the materials too, so that is another way.
They can be like a published illustrator in a way, to see their own artwork up on the computer.
In this way, for example, students who are not as confident, let's say, speaking or reading, but they are creative, you might want to motivate those students so they can contribute with their talent in the creation of the animation of the story too, So that is another good way to foster their creativity. There you go. And we can also change the size of the picture. That's another good
all you
thing.
do is click on it. And you have a couple different options. So that's 75%, half of it, and 25%. And it just takes a little while to upload. That's why there's the delay. But I'll leave that there, and you can format it even further. I've just highlighted it. And I'll go up to this paragraph button to put the image directly in the middle. It looks a little nicer and neater that way. So there you go. Here's Tat. The man has given him the fish for lunch.
Supermarket. Yes.
Save that.
And this is the story that we have covered with the writer, Lauren Garten. And whenever you want to take a look at or watch her presentation, it's on our web. Tips and her ideas, and we got inspired right now, so we wanted today to show you how to customize this specific story.
All right, so the next thing that we can do is we can create different activities. So any of the activities that you see in our Storyscape, you can recreate yourself, add your own questions on any page, or you can create a new page, which we won't go over creating a new page today, I don't think, but you can add on at any point. So just continuing with this page that we've been working on. If you want your own section, just hit on this button, create a new section. And we have just a lot of different options here for you to choose from. Lorena, what section should I make right now to demonstrate, do you think?
One of, I think, our favorites and teachers' favorites are also like the multiple choice one.
Okay. So
maybe,
it will.
Yeah, maybe I'll show later some of the activities that I created. But okay. Yeah, that one is a good one.
Yeah, so you'll start out with directions for your students. So please answer. Actually, in this one, I'll demonstrate just a quick tool that we use sometimes throughout our Storyscape. So you'll put in your directions for your student at the top. And actually, you can go ahead and click on make this section a survey so that your students will give their opinion on whatever topic you want them to know or to share about. So let's say for this story, do you like cats or dogs better? And so you can put cats and dogs as the two answers. And you can also, let's say you gave more options, cats, dogs, or fish. Just click on this plus button and it will give you another option, cats, fish, or dogs. So I will add that in and save the page. And I'll just refresh here so you can see what that looks like when your students answer a survey question.
So in that case, we don't have a correct answer. We also we have all students answer whichever ones, and we don't mark any answer as correct. They stay okay, like that.
Yeah. So I just decided that I like fish more the most. And right now it just says that there's one vote for fish, but if you have your whole class answer this question, the pie chart will, it will change depending on how your students have answered the question. So
that is a great also way to create. We're going to probably go over that next week, but that's a great way to also create exit tickets.
Yeah.
As a survey. Right. Let me see if I can share my screen. I'll show how some of the activities, let's see, that I made. Let's see, did I? Oh, great. I closed the tab. Oh my goodness. Okay, yeah. So I wanted to share with you some of the activities that I also made using the recording option that we have that is very interactive. Okay, 1 second. Okay. It's just taking a little bit. Okay, perfect. So now I can share it. Okay. So, okay. All right. Okay. So you will see right here, we can look for if you have created your activities. One way to look at them is to go to the tile view. And right here, I have made some activities. And I want to show you also what they look like on the list of contents view. Story, I got story 4. And I will show you after the can do checklist. I have, you can see Tat the cat practice. So we'll click on that. And this is the one that I also made. I kept the name, but here I added, lines. So it could be any dog, any animal actually. And I also deleted the food that he buys. So he could buy anything, dog food, a hamburger, So this is one of the activities. The other one is that in this case, like I said, we could upload 3 pictures that represent the story of the animal of your student's choice, which is another activity that you can have with your students. In order to develop also listening and speaking skills, I created this activity in which you can interview Tat, and I recorded here. Hi, I am. So students can interview Tat based on the information that they hear. They can ask Tat questions based on the answers. So they have the record button here. And then I'm going to show you by clicking on the edit this page. You can add more questions if you want. You can add another activity. So in this case, this is section 4, for example. And then I will click on section 4 and I can click on add and edit questions. Here are the sections right here. So I'm going to click on create a new section. And then I can also record again, something like if you have the audio, you can choose the file of the audio, but you could record it. Something like I am happy at home. And then you will see that it is saving your recording. It's right here. So we click on insert audio and the audio has been inserted there. And then if you have, or if you want to write any suggested answer, you do it. If not, you just add the question. And it is question number 4. It's so simple and it's very quick, as you can see. So that's one of the activities that I created. So then we save page and then we exit. We close the editor and then we have to refresh it so that it will load all the questions. And the question that I have just added, you will see now that you have 4 questions.
Awesome.
Yes.
Super convenient to be able to record directly.
Yes, exactly. I love that too. That you don't really have to do much. Just click on record and you can record it, and then your students will be able to do this activity when you assign them. So that is another suggestion.
Okay. And then I'll just continue sharing my screen and go back to, so we went over a few of the different kinds of activity types you can add, but you can, there's so many that we can't really go over them all at once. But one thing I wanted to highlight is, you can add a YouTube video directly into the editor. So I'll just go back to the page that we've been working on and scroll back down to edit this page and create a new section. So what we'll need this time is content only. And you'll just hit create that section and edit the content, create a new content block, and it just gives you a blank text box to enter things into. So you could just write maybe a note to your students if you'd like, but we can also just take a YouTube video directly, and I'll show you how. So I have this one that's called Cats Take Over Japanese Train. The narration is in English. It's about a whole bunch of cats on this train. So what you can do to get this directly on your page, any video, you'll just right click on it and you'll go down to copy embed code. And then when we go back to this blank page that we opened up, all we have to do is paste, and you'll see that the video is directly in the blank spot. So I will just add that and save. And when we refresh, students will be able to read the story, and then they can scroll down and watch that video to get, some more discussion out of this topic. So you can go ahead and click play, and here we are.
And you have the YouTube video displaying there. I think that we could do with our students could be for them to, create another survey of what they think about the video, or maybe a survey to see whether transportation in their area is animal friendly, whether you can take your cat or pet with you on the train or on a bus, and how that works. We can dig into that and find out more about those kind of topics that go and stems, from the story, which is that, how we would like for teachers to use the material to get inspired by the stories and to develop additional activities or to tap into more creative ways to continue with the story. So,
and we try to put as much content in as we can, but there's only so much we can do, and so not everyone wants all those survey sections or extra activities or videos. We put as much in as we think you need, but you can customize for your class, add in what you think is useful for you. So that's why we do that.
Yeah, definitely. And that's why we are like super happy and proud to show you this editor tool that transforms, your teaching and your students' learning experience, because you can do like anything you want with the content or add more content, and for your students to see it, to enjoy it, and to be part of the creation of it.
Is that it?
Yes, that's it for today.
Yes.
Because we are going to show you more ways to customize content, and we are going to also show you more ways to develop personalized learning. And so, but that's going to be next week, and it's going to be in Spanish.
Ooh, exciting.
Yes. So we hope you enjoyed this webinar, and you got some ideas on how to customize content. And also, if you have any questions, you can email us at efl@ourstoryscape.com. And we hope to see you next Friday, same time, 4 p.m. Argentina time. And thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you.
Bye.